Hi everybody, and happy new year. It's been a while since I made a video on YouTube, and happy new month too. This is the first day of February 2025, and I'm going to touch on a controversial topic. The title of today's video is why, or let's say 5 reasons why the sacrifice of Jesus or the life and death of Jesus Christ make no sense. Before you get all angry and defensive, I would like you to consider the points I'm raising with an open mind. And if you are willing to debate, or if you have solid counter arguments, I would love you to present those arguments in the comment section. So with that being said, I'm going to dive into the video. So the first point is that the time that Jesus spent on earth is simply too short to make an impact. So Jesus Christ spent 33 years on earth, and according to science, modern Homo sapiens have been on earth for approximately 300,000 years. Fossil evidence, particularly from Jebel Irhoud in Morocco, suggests that anatomically modern humans emerged around 300,000 years ago in Africa. So if human beings have been around, or if the Homo sapiens have been around for 300,000 years, and Jesus Christ only spent 33 years in the flesh with them, that means Jesus Christ only spent 0.00011% of his time with humanity. And that's just simply an insignificant amount of time to make a significant impact. And to be fair to Jesus, he did make a strong impact during that short amount of time, because approximately there are 2.38 billion individuals practicing some form of Christianity worldwide. That amounts to about 31.6% of the global population. However, in any exam, 31.6% will be considered an F, a failure. So Jesus Christ came to earth for 33 years and was only able to get about 31% of humanity to believe in him, to follow him. That means the other 70% is either atheist, agnostic, or practicing some other religion. And so, looking at it from that angle, you can say Jesus Christ failed to make an impact, since in the Bible it is told to us that Jesus Christ wants to save everyone, and it is very obvious that 70% of people have not been saved by him. 70% of the world does not believe in him. So the first point, which I think I've covered, is that the time he spent with humanity is simply too short. And then another point is that since Jesus is God and God is eternal, that means Jesus is eternal. Jesus has been around from before the beginning, since eternal beings essentially do not have a beginning. And so Jesus Christ has no beginning. He has existed forever, and he will continue to exist forever, for all time. So the challenge is, even if we are to short, for the sake of argument, if we are to say that Jesus Christ has existed for just 1 billion years, because we can't quantify infinity, so let's use 1 billion years as a starting point. If Jesus Christ has existed for 1 billion years and he spent 33 years with humanity in the flesh, what it means is that Jesus spent 0.0000033% of his time with humanity. That is just using 1 billion years as a yardstick. The number I just called is actually 3.3 times 10 raised to the power of minus 8. This shows that the time Jesus Christ has spent with humanity is just not enough. 33 years is not enough. Okay, going to the second point. The second point is that why did Jesus come 2,000 years ago? And why once? Okay, let's address the first issue. So 2,000 years ago, there was no telephone, there was no video camera, there was no YouTube, obviously, no TikTok, no Spotify, no airplanes, no cargo ships. The means of transportation and communication were primitive at the time, and it would have been difficult or more difficult to spread the word as at that time, and to also gather and store evidence as at that time. If Jesus Christ would have come today, there would have been YouTube channels, Spotify podcast, and other mediums that he could have used to reach the world, to reach a wider and broader audience. And don't forget, Jesus Christ essentially came to save the whole world. So why would he come at a time when all this technology is not available? It kind of doesn't make sense. It would have made sense if Jesus Christ came at least in the 90s or the 80s. It would have even made more sense if he came today in the 21st century, when there is more than enough technology. He could have broadcast his message live on the internet. He could have recorded miracles. The Bible would have had more credibility. He could have subjected himself to more verifiable procedures or more verifiable interactions, because he could have actually recorded his interactions with different people. After he died, after he was executed by the government, he could have come back to life and have people record him. I mean, that is, he could have had a doctor like look at his body, call a time of death, give an autopsy report, and then come back to life, be seen by people, recorded on video, grant interviews. If Jesus Christ had come today, the evidence that he would have gathered, he could have left behind, would have just been far more impressive than what we currently have. And so it begs the question, why 2,000 years ago? Why not today? The second question, why once? Jesus Christ came 2,000 years ago, and only 31% of the world believes in him. And most Christians believe that Jesus Christ will come back the second time to judge the world, and it will essentially signal the end of the world, at least as we know it. And so it begs the question, why not come again? If the first time around he came and only 31%, it's an impressive number, no doubt. Like 2.38 billion people believe in Jesus Christ. That's impressive. But if only 31% of the world believes in you, and the other 70% is going to perish, why not come again this time? And even with the presence of more advanced technology, it would be far easier to convince more people now than it was then. Why not come back one more time and set the record straight? Why just interact with humanity once and call it a day, and then only come back for judgment? That's food for thought. Then the third reason is that the person who gained most from the sacrifice of Jesus is actually Jesus. And before you call me crazy, now look at it. He came to earth, he lived, he died, and then after his death, he was exalted, glorified, made to sit at the right hand of God, and given a name above all other names. And it looks like the person who gained the most out of this sacrifice was Jesus. This is an interesting idea I actually heard from an ex-pastor in Nigeria who is now an atheist, and I thought about it and it makes a lot of sense. Like, most people would accept the offer if God in all his glory, in all his splendor, were to approach the average man and say, look, you're going to suffer and die, you'll be dead for 3 days, but on the third day you're going to rise, you're going to be glorified, you're going to sit at my right hand, you're going to be given power, wisdom, authority, honor, and you are going to be made to judge the world at the end of time. I think most people will accept that offer. The glory that Jesus received after his death far surpasses the suffering. Jesus gained a lot from his death, apparently. Just read the book of Revelation and you're going to know more about this. He was exalted, he was glorified, he was anything you can think, anything good, anything great, anything honorable was given to him. And as a believer, what are you really gaining from the sacrifice of Jesus? Well, he's going to save you from eternal punishment, from hell. Guess who created hell? His Father, Yahweh. And if Jesus is God, then Jesus created hell. So essentially, he died to save you from himself, to glorify himself. And then, that's why I say the person who gains the most from the sacrifice of Jesus is Jesus. And a real sacrifice involves loss, not gain. A person who sacrifices something loses it. There's usually a sense of permanence to that. Sacrifice something and then gaining it back is not the sacrifice for most people. You know, like, if I was a billionaire and I gave $1 million to charity to save myself $5 million in tax, is that a sacrifice? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. And so Jesus Christ gave his life, and 3 days later he had it back and was glorified and exalted above every other person. Food for thought, right? Then the fourth reason is that the sacrifice of Jesus is not free. As much as the evangelists and pastors and ministers will want you to believe that the sacrifice of Jesus Christ is free, it's not. It comes with conditions. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him, there comes the condition, whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And the challenge with that is, why should someone have to do anything to receive this free gift? You know, why should there be conditions? Why should I have faith? Why should I believe in God before the sacrifice of Jesus works for me? I mean, if he died to save everybody, then everybody should be saved without doing anything, whether they want to be saved or not. That is what a real sacrifice is. They say love thinks nothing of itself. And so Jesus Christ should have just gone to the cross and died to save everyone without expecting anything in return, without expecting belief, without expecting worship, without expecting commitment, without expecting tithes, without expecting anything in return. But apparently you have to believe, you have to confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord before you can enjoy the benefits of his sacrifice. And that is why it can be said, It's not a sacrifice, it's in fact a transaction. It is a transaction, unfortunately. So I think I have just 4 points. So those are the points, and I hope you can watch this video and engage with it critically. If you do not like something I said, or if you have a better idea, please share your thoughts in the comment section. And if you want to engage with me, I would like to discuss some of these ideas. You can invite me to your podcasts, although I'm not going to show my face. I'm not going to show my face until at least I have like 50,000 subscribers, and I know that is very unlikely, so I'll probably never show my face on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and do have a nice, wonderful, and splendid day. And remember to keep thinking, remain rational, remain reasonable. Thank you, and over.